Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Thursday, April the 7th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Master of One with Walmal. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. So, Walmal, we came up with that title yesterday. You want to tell the boys and girls and non-binary traders what we were talking about?
Well, we were basically just talking about how, to a certain extent, myself and many other traders, when they first started trading, they're kind of all over the place. You know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing a combination of this and that, and you're really not getting good at anything. And what happens is you wind up, there was the old expression, of being being a jack of all trades and master of none. And then I think I went and furthered that by going and saying, well, the thing is, in trading, we have to be a master of one, meaning one way of trading. And that's incredibly important. And I would even expand it in a couple of different ways, but master of one thing, I guess that would be my iteration of even expanding that a little bit. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you need to be able to go and do one thing right. You start with doing one thing right, and you become a master at it. You know that one thing inside and out, and most people will go and focus on their method of entry. That's very, very important to go and master that, get that really nailed down. I personally think that the best thing that you need to go and master is your money management. Be able to control your losses and extend your wins. And when I say extend your wins, do it two ways. You can either go and extend your wins by winning more often, but taking lots of small wins, or you can go and master the idea of, hey, I'm only going to have one win, but it's going to be a big win. Personally, I go for lots of little wins. That's my personality. All my friends go and joke around, say I'm nothing more than a squirrel because I can't go and keep my eyes on anything for more than a minute or two, and then I see some shiny object I got to go after. So for my protection, get out of the trade. Okay, I made some money. Get out of the trade. Oh, I'm losing some money. Get out of the trade and just wait for the next opportunity. So that was one of the first things I had to master. Was my way of going and managing my money. You TRO probably would call them mastering your emotions or mastering your brain, being able to go and control those things and, having your trading plan down and being able to do those things. But that's my idea. Master one thing. Just, and make a decision that's what you're going to do. The problem what I see with a lot of traders, so actually, I'm going to go and turn this back on you. What do you think first in terms of what you need to master? I made an assumption for your part, but I'd like to hear what you think the one thing is that you need to master.
The one thing you need to master, I think, is following instruction, whether it's your own instruction or somebody else's instruction, without hesitation. In other words, you have to become automatic, a robot, or as I used to like to say, you have to be a trained monkey. You have to turn off the analytical part of your brain and just follow your plan. Because, the thing is, as we've mentioned before, that a simple algorithm is going to beat your in-the-moment decision-making.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Especially if you've gone and done what you were supposed to do in the first place, which is what? Write out your trading plan. Figure out exactly how you're going to go and, carry out this war. And this is a war. Carry it out. Get it written down. Have a plan how you're going to go and carry it out. And go and just go and do it. Now, if it turns out that it's not working, there's time for reevaluation of the plan, but it's not every hour, every trade that you're reevaluating. No, you need to go and have, some time in it, because let's face it, there are periods of time when you're going to win, and he's going to, there's times, it kind of shocks me almost that there are times where it almost seems no matter what I do, I'm following my plan, and I don't take any losses. I just keep on going. And then, it was on one of your videos, I think it was last week, where I had a really bad day, and, it just, that's what happens. That's part of trading. But what is following your plan? Plan is, okay, I had a certain amount I was willing to lose, and once that happened, that trigger line got triggered, I ain't going any further. I'll come back tomorrow, fight another day.
Exactly.
But the other thing I wanted to go and talk about was this idea of master of one. So many new traders, they I hate to say it, but they look at trading as a get-rich-quick scheme. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a way to go from, they're in some type of peril of some sort. They lost a job. Something happened to prevent them to go and actually work from an office, whatever it may be, family changes. And so they're looking at this as a get-rich-quick scheme. And so what do? They jump into this and thinking that they can just jump in and make a bunch of money, and they don't have that insecurity anymore. They have a way that they can go and be able to support themselves and support their families. And sure, that's part of trading. But the problem is, a lot of these guys, what they'll do, when I say guys, I mean guys and girls, but
and the non-binaries.
And everybody else, that's right. But, what happens is that it doesn't work for a day, or it doesn't work for a week, and we're already going and jumping to the next method. And that's a major problem, because the reality is, think about this. Imagine that you want to become an airline pilot. Do you think on the first day of going into school to become an airline pilot, they put you into a 747 filled with 300 passengers and say, hey, let's go? Do you think that that's what happens? Of course not. There's hours and hours and hours of study that happens on the ground. And then once you get through all the ground school, guess what happens next? They then go and put you into a simulator. And you start playing, or more likely, they put you into a really small plane with an instructor with you, teaching you how to go and fly that plane. And then you work your way up. And maybe in 10 years of doing all that schooling and all that training or whatever, you may find yourself, inside that 747. But I'll guarantee you're still not the pilot. You're the first officer. And so, that's what I mean by Master One. You need to go and take that, whatever it is that you're trying to go and perfect in your trading, you need to be willing to put in the work. And this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's the type of thing where I probably work harder at this than I did in any job I had in, working for the man, as they say, because of the number of hours that I spend just looking at charts, thinking about it, trying to figure things out, watching for patterns, watching other people's videos, reading books, just trying to get ideas and educate myself. And it doesn't stop. That's the thing, too. I mean, I've been trading since 2009, and every day it seems like, I'm learning something new, or I'm relearning something that I knew way back when, but I had forgotten.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting, though. See, as I've mentioned in videos, trading is just so different. It's a different animal than the rest of those. Flying a plane is a skill. It's something you can master by following the instructions. And chances are, if you follow those instructions, unless there's a mechanical malfunction or some type of weather event, or somebody shooting at you, you're going to take off. You're going to get to your destination, safely. But in trading, you can do everything, quote unquote, by the book, and that particular trade at any one time could turn into a loser. And you just have to, and that's something you really have to accept. And then So especially for new people, they'll try a method and maybe they'll do 10 times and maybe 7 times it didn't work out. Well, that's just the luck of the draw, because 10 times is not enough data. You need to run it maybe 100 times and see if it changes, and then maybe 500 or 1,000 times before you can say this method doesn't work.
Yeah, and part of it is, I think there's actually two parts to it, because you're exactly right. That's just the way the market is. It's, people think that, if statistics say, hey, you're going to win 7 out of 10 trades by doing X, that means that, okay, I'm going to take 10 trades today and I'm going to win 7 times and lose 3 times. That's not what statistics are about. What it is that over a long period of time, and we can go into, you can put in some, statements as to what long period of time constitutes, but over a long period of time, we're going to go and have a 70%, 30% type of ratio.
Right.
But the reality is, I could go and actually take, in the beginning, and let's say I'm taking 1,000 trades, the first 300 trades, technically I could lose all 300 of them in a row.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen. Not likely, but it could, and we have to go and remember that. So when you're jumping into something, you got to remember, hey, I got to be in this, for the long game. And that's why that money management part is so stinking important, because the likelihood of something catastrophic like losing 300 times in a row before you win 700 times in a row, well, yeah, that's real small. But you need to plan for that. And you need to go and have a money management plan in place. And that's why I say my number one thing for mastering is my money management, because I need to go and make sure that I've got an account tomorrow to trade with. And so to me, and the thing is that mastering of that, there are lots of elements in that mastering of that take place. One, I got to make sure part of managing your money is that, hey, I better go and have my method of entry pretty well down. And the reason why is because if I don't, I'm just going and frivolously throwing money around. I need to know what my exit strategy is. I need to know what, if I'm winning, part of the exit strategy. If I'm winning, when am I going to get out? If I'm winning, when am I going to go and keep on hopefully collecting pips? If I'm losing, when do I cut it? When I've had so many X number of trades that I lost, on today, I need to know that. Some people go and treat money management in a different way, and that is that they go and say, okay, I'm willing to go and lose X number of dollars today. And that's how I do it. Okay. Other people will go and say, every trade, what I do is I establish what that line is by going and, let's say if I'm willing to lose 2% of my account in a day, well, how does that stack up? And what I mean by that is that you go and actually redo the calculation on every single trade. And, to me, that's too much work for me. I'm lazy. I said that in the beginning of the video. I'm a squirrel. I'm too lazy to go and do that. So I'll just go and say, I'm willing to lose X dollars today, and period. And when I get there, I don't care. I just punch the close all button and get out and move on and wait for tomorrow. And but the thing is, I can't dictate to any trader out there which is the proper way to do it, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me, because, we have to master it, and we all master it a different way. And I look at trading more as an art than as a science. Because there's so many things that we can go and so many different approaches to it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about up. So, fellow traders, take a look at what you're doing and see if you're mastering one or if you're trying to be a jack of all trades. Because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.